Hang on. Before we start, let me kick a cat out of my room.
Yeah, great.
Arthur, come on.
I'm glad I'm recording some really quality gnat sound of man walking across wooden floor. Doors slamming.
All right, there we go.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So you're. I was thinking about you. So your teaching job is on hold then for now too, huh? Or are you doing any of that online?
I'm doing it online. I'm using like WhatsApp and Skype.
Awesome.
And I'm doing a lot of like online lessons with kids. It's not as good as doing it in person, but it's still better than nothing. And I think the kids also enjoy having something to do during quarantine, like some sort of structure. When you're teaching someone in person, it's very easy to just be like, no, you're doing this. Let me show you, watch me, and then you do it. But it's a lot harder to do that like over a video chat because like it's a lot harder to direct where you want them to focus and like to make sure they have a good angle. Like if I'm playing guitar and like wanting them to look at my fingering, I have to like really make them focus and like really put my hand up awkwardly in front of the camera and slowly do it.
Make it overly clear.
As opposed to like if we were in person, I can just be like, no, like 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, and like, oh. But yeah, and dude, drums is even harder because like,
oh my gosh, the sound has got to be just horrendous, just clipping.
Oh my god. Oh god. I mean, actually, so far of my drum students, the clipping has been kind of bad, but the main thing is like while they're playing, if they're not like watching the video feed, I can't be loud enough to tell them to stop. Like if I'm like, all right, practice this, keep doing single strokes, and they're like, ga, and then I'm like, stop, and they're just like, ga, and if like they're not watching the video, they don't know I'm telling them to stop.
Sure, you're waving your hands like a guy on a flight line trying to land a plane or something.
Yeah, I do. I do like a big X, and some of my older students are, like pay more attention to me and like stop, but the younger ones, they just get so like zoned in on doing whatever they're doing that they just like keep going forever until like one of their parents is like sitting in the room and he's like, sweetie, he's saying stop. And they're like, oh.
Just focusing as much as they can. Like, all right, kick on 1 and 3, kick on 1. Let's watch my foot. Just zoned in. Yeah. Cool. Well, there's no real official start to this thing. I don't even have a name for it. I just wanted to try this out and chat with you. So I think this name is kind of lame. We'll see how it sticks with you. I thought about calling it the DL on TC, like the down low on the Twin Cities. Just.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Kind of cute. Okay, I'll take cute. Although that could be a demeaning phrase. I'll take.
No.
Like you don't have to backpedal. It's fine.
No. I don't. No, I do think it's cute. But I mean, like the DL and the TC, because like at first I'm thinking about it and I'm like, what the hell does that mean? And then you're like the down low in the Twin Cities, man, and it's kind of like
boom, big reveal.
It's like, yeah, and it's like it's kind of cool, but it's not like edgy cool, you know? Like it's not like trying to be too big. You know, I don't know. I think it's cute. I like it.
I'll take it. I mean, the whole point of this is I just want to chat a bit about the music scene right now when everything's kind of at a standstill. Just to get to know a handful of musicians that are making great music here in the Twin Cities. So if you've stuck around this long, talking with John Bruno, he's the drummer for Charlie Doesn't Surf. As you've heard, he's a music teacher of sorts. He's a really kick-ass guitarist, despite mostly performing on drums right now, and all around a pretty decent guy. Just a handful of questions for you, John. We'll just shoot the breeze about Minneapolis music. And I thought we'd start off talking about, since they're closed right now, reminiscing about your favorite local venue. It could be past or present, closed or open. Like, best place to go see a show.
So just to go watch a show, not to like play a show.
Yeah, we'll go with watch a show.
Dude, I love the 331. I don't know. There's just something about that really small, like tight, enclosed space. And just, I don't know, the bands that are always there always just feel good. And like, even if the band is like so-so, the patio is really nice to just go out and enjoy and talk with friends if you're not super digging it. And it's almost always free, or I'm pretty sure it is always free. And it's like, that is right up my alley, man.
Yeah, I think unless they book a really significant national act in there, I think it always free. And you're absolutely right about the room size. Just by sort of the nature of it, it's not a big room, so it almost always feels kind of full. You know, there's always an energy there, whether you're seeing a band or performing. So I feel
even if it's like only 20 people, it still feels like a decent crowd, because like 20 people still like would pack all of the seats and all of the little stools. Like there's not much of a standing crowd, but and then like you add more people in and then you have a bit of a standing crowd and it still feels like really alive in there.
Yeah, I always seem to have to work to get a drink too. The bar is
Oh
always
yeah.
busy.
Oh yeah,
So
dude.
let's go back a little bit. When did you start playing? I mean, what did you pick up first? A guitar or drumsticks?
Way back in yonder days, like the first instrument I played,
Yeah.
I was 6 and I took drum lessons. Like my parents put me in drum lessons.
A poor choice, I'm sure. Just
Yeah,
loud,
well,
loud, loud, or not so much.
well, for like the first, what was it? I was 6. I only had a practice pad up until I was like 13. So I didn't get a full drum set for like 7 years.
Okay, so smart parents.
Yeah, I don't even know. I think their reasoning was is like they didn't want to commit to buying anything big if I wasn't going to stick with it. So it was just kind of like, start you with the small thing, see if you like it. And then I
Yeah,
just never really wanted to quit.
a decent drum set really is a fairly big investment too. I mean, you can go out and buy those guitar starter packs for like 150, and I feel like if you
Yeah.
want anything okay on drums, you got to put down at least like $3, something like that.
Oh, dude.
For
Dude, my first drum set was not okay. It was
Oh.
so bad.
What was it?
It
Do you
was
remember?
Oh God, no. It was kind of like, the normal like Pearl export setup where you have like your snare, high tom, middle tom, floor tom, and then you have a crash and a hi-hat. Like that really like standard. And it was like probably like a 14-inch snare, like a 12-inch high tom, like 14-inch medium tom, and like 16-inch floor tom. Just those really like kind of middling sizes, but all like kind of on the bigger side. And I don't know what it was. Maybe when I was putting it together, I didn't know how to tune it or like anything because it just always sounded so bad and so flat and so flabby. And like, I just hated the way it sounded. I didn't really enjoy practicing for a while until I got a new drum set. Oh God. And then like, oh yeah, I remember when we got that first drum set, I don't know where my dad got it, but we actually had to like put it together from scratch kind of thing, where it was like we got it in a bunch of boxes, and it was like the shells were in like one box, and then like all the heads were in another box, and all the bolts. It was like a drum set from IKEA or something.
What a puzzle.
And it was like, yeah, and we literally had to like take all the nuts and like screw them in, and then like we were watching like this instructional video
Oh
into
shoot, the
how to
hardware
assemble
too?
your. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, we were like screwing all the nuts and bolts in, and we basically like all the was mailed to us, and then we like built a drum set. I have no clue where my dad got it, and we must have like screwed up somewhere because it sounded bad. And like when the instructional video was showing us how to tune it, I was like 13, and I was like, how do you do this? And my dad was like, and we were just watching the guy be like, make sure you're tuning on opposite sides of the head, or you're tuning the opposite nuts so that way you don't warp the head. And we're like, okay, how do we know when it sounds good? Eh.
Those early days of I mean, I still have a tricky time tuning a drum set, making it sound great. I mean, that has to be one of the harder learning curves. Most people who have any sense of rhythm could kind of sit down and bang out a simple 4/4, beat. But to actually add groove and then to actually, make the drums sound good with tuning, that takes a long time. Let's talk about.
Yeah.
So you started on drums. What was your first band or first gig that you had? Tell me about your first gigging experience. Was it on drums?
Yes, it was. First paid gig, like first gig where I technically got paid.
Yeah, just first gig in front of people.
So I was in a somewhat not good kind of, I don't know, butt rock band sort of back in high school.
I like it already.
I can't even remember what we were called. But our first gig we were a 4-piece. We had a bass, 2 guitars, and me on drums. And one of our guitarists, he was taking guitar lessons at like a local music shop, and his teacher was having a recital for all of his guitar students, and that was our first gig, like my first gig ever. But we were playing like our band songs for his recital stuff, and like showing off that oh, he's in a rock band, cool. And
what a player.
it was, yeah, but it was not good because we were like we were out in rural Minnesota, and we were playing to a bunch of really old folks, like 70s, 80s, some 60s, and then like their grandkids and like their parents. And like it was mostly grandparents there though. And like nobody was into it at all.
Can you describe the sound a little bit? What band was it sort of close to? Was it kind of proggy or was it more commercial radio rock? Thousands era?
It was, let's see, what could I describe it to? I would take like, say, Skid Row and give it like kind of like a country twang, Just except like not like the high shrill vocals. Imagine like the sort of like country twangy low vocals, but like this sort of like heavy distorted like big power chord, sort of riffage of Skid Row kind of thing.
I love it. Well, if you ever find a track, send it my way because I'm curious. I won't publish it. I'm just for me, just for my own.
Okay, all right, just for you. I might try and dig one up because I know we uploaded a video to YouTube.
Hell yeah!
Which was, yeah, it's out there somewhere.
Perfect. Okay, so I have some questions about you joining Charlie Doesn't Surf, which came much later. But first, we have to do this little thing here. It is the lightning round.
What?
Oh, snap.
What is this?
Best place in the Twin Cities to get some food. Where do you like to go?
Oh, dude. Augustine's is really good. It's over in St. Paul. Dude. What's that pizza place by the Varsity?
Mesa?
That place is also really good. Mesa Pizza.
Pizza by
also
the
really
slice?
like that place.
Yeah. Go to drink at a show.
Premium. Greenbelt Premium.
Single or double kick?
Double, dude.
Favorite
Josh won't
Ninja
let me have a
Turtle?
double.
Favorite Ninja Turtle?
Michelangelo.
Have you ever been skinny dipping?
Probably. I don't know. My teenage years were kind of a blur.
Oh, great. Okay, I'll accept it. Would you rather be able to levitate for 37 seconds every time you sneezed or be world famous as a hopscotch champion?
World famous as a hopscotch champion.
Okay, good pick. And pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to disagree on that, but that's fine. I'll let
Okay.
it go.
Whoa.
No, it's lightning round. It's lightning round.
Fine. Keep going.
It's a whole other conversation. Okay, so tell me about joining Charlie Doesn't Surf. So the band existed for some time before you joined. Can you tell me how you got connected with Josh?
So it was actually, I played with a different band, Wicked Tamazusa, and we ended up playing 1 or 2 shows with Charlie Doesn't Surf, and I really liked them. So I just kind of followed them on Facebook and was like, oh, those guys are fun, and I want to play with them again, and I went to see a few of their shows. And then at some point, their previous drummer, quit. They didn't have a drummer, and they just put it out on Facebook, like, hey, we're looking for a drummer. If you know anyone who wants to do it, hit us up. And I was like, sweet, I like these guys. And I was very polite, and I asked my other band, and I was like, hey guys, do you mind if I like drum for these guys on the side? And they're all like, yeah, man, go do it. So I hit them up, and the original idea was just to be like a temp drummer until they found a more permanent person, because I still wanted to fully commit to the other band. But as time went on, the other band slowly fell apart, and I eventually, like as I saw it falling down more, I was just eventually, thinking, hey, why don't I just do this Charlie Doesn't Surf thing like all the time? And Josh and Matt at the time were both like, hell yeah, man, let's do it. I was in the band.
I love that you asked your old band sort of for their blessing to play in this other band. It's very responsible of you, especially as a drummer, man, because drummers get tagged to be in everything,
Yeah.
Shortage, it seems like. So you were in the band, and I mean, I know what Charlie Doesn't Surf sounds like, but if someone's listening to this and they've never heard the band, could you describe it in one word? How would you do that?
I'd say it's kind of like a very kind of like pop rock sound, but with a lot of like punk and shoegaze elements sort of mixed in. Like we have songs that are very like high energy, but also other songs that are very ethereal and dreamy and kind of like, step back a bit. It kind of like floats back and forth. Like different songs kind of like dip their toes a bit more into each of those genres, but I think it kind of all like floats in that sort of like either like pop rock, punk rock sort of category, or that more like shoegazy rock sort.
So Josh Williamson is the main writer, frontman, main fixture in the band. So you came in after the band had been around for a while. There was a handful of songs established. What today is the writing, the collaboration process like when it comes to creating new songs?
Well, it's a lot like we create like a skeleton of a song. Like we put down lyrics, we put down a structure and like a rough kind of like chord shape or, like chords, harmonies. And then we bring it to each other and we kind of like show it to everyone, see what they think. And then like as we play through it, like we all learn it and then we sort of play through it and then we just kind of like spitball like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we put that here? And it's like the basic structure and like idea of a song is made by one person and then we all just kind of like add little bits and be like, oh, what if we put like a small like few measure break here? Or what if we all, just dropped out right here for a few beats and then we came back in? Those breaks in then like punk? Mm-hmm. That's how those came about, is that was all just like, originally it was just us plowing right through the whole thing, verse, chorus. And then like while we were playing it, we're like, oh, what if we do just like a stop here? And then, we're just like, yeah, that's cool.
I've got some green back home and I've got some brew. So let's turn on some Sonic Youth and paint the nights of Minneapolis with the old Greenbelt sign. All right!
Let's jump to... What was your favorite gig that you've ever played, or maybe your biggest accomplishment as a musician? I'm assuming that's related to Charlie, just by the kind of current status or success, I guess you could say, of the band.
Yeah, dude, it has to be the Fillmore show.
Tell me about it.
Oh my God, that was incredible. That was like a show where I felt like an actual rock star kind of thing.
Nice.
Because, okay, so we got there like 4 hours ahead of when the show started, and there was just like a swarm of like stagehands to just like carry all of our shit for us, and we had our own hotel room like with the other bands to just like relax in and just chill in, all of it complimentary, a free meal at a nearby restaurant, like totally comped. We could get anything we want, totally free. And there was like a stocked fridge backstage full of like beer and water and like other things we could want. And when we were like loading onto the stage and loading off, we barely had to lift like stuff if we didn't want to. It was mostly just like stagehands just picked all of our stuff up, brought it to where we were going to be, and then we would like do the fine tuning. And then the same thing when we were getting off. They would just like shuttle everything off the stage. I think I only carried my snare and my stick bag off stage. Like everything else was just a bunch of dudes in black shirts coming out, grabbing it. Off it went. And the crowd was incredible, man. Like it felt packed and like everybody seemed so into it, Mm-hmm. Like it was one of those like magical moments where it kind of like it reassured me of like what I'm doing isn't a waste of time, because like I look out and like people were obviously enjoying it. They were obviously having fun. And I was like, so this isn't a waste of time. I'm 100% doing this for more than just myself. Like other people enjoy what I'm doing as well.
Yeah, as I'm listening to this, I'm smiling because it reminds me so much of sort of the plight and the status of local gigging musician. You're leading off with, we got comped food and we had stagehands to carry our gear on and off the stage. Before you even mention sort of like the crowd response or how the gig itself went. I mean, when we're loading gear into a car and driving for an hour and unloading and then sitting around for 2 hours and then quick throwing stuff up on stage in, a 10-minute turnaround, when you can get a comped meal and when you have stagehands and, let's say even a nice monitor mix, that's big time in it. I feel you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that was one of your bigger gigs in CDS, and I'm trying to figure out a great way to do this, but I've got this fun little thing planned. It's called
Audio Trivia.
I'm going to test your knowledge here. I'm going to play a couple ISO drum parts, and I want to see if you can identify the band and the song. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here's your first clip.
You Could Be Mine by Guns N' Roses.
Nice. Good. All right, 1 for 1. Here's number 2. This one you'll probably get.
that's Rush, but oh god. I can't remember it right now, but I know it.
I know I threw
yeah,
a little
it's
bit
Rush.
of a deeper cut at you. Yep, band is right.
No, but yeah, because I do know the song. It is familiar. Okay, I give up.
Okay, Subdivisions.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, you're 1-1. Here's another one for you.
Oh, Blitzkrieg Bop. No, no, not Blitzkrieg Bop. The sweet one. What's it called? Are you ready, Steve? Yeah. Andy. All right, let's go. What's the words? What words is he saying there?
You're so close.
It's by Sweet, though.
Yes.
It's by Sweet. It's
and you have half the title right, sort of.
It's
when you said Blitzkrieg Bop, you aren't too far off.
Yeah. Because are you ready, Steve? Okay, let's go.
Yeah, you totally got it.
Ballroom Blitz. There we go.
There you go. Okay, good. 2-1.
Dude.
All right, here we go.
Joker and the Thief by Wolfmother.
Perfect. And last one here. Ooh.
Gosh, dude, I know that one. I can't remember that one at all. I give up. I don't think
you
I'm
know
good
the
today.
band though, don't you? Maybe not.
No, I'm blanking on that too.
Iron Maiden, Where Eagles Dare.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't heard that one in a while. But yeah.
Dude, nice job.
Thank you.
I got to get my fake crowd cheer sound effect work in here so I can get that playing for you too.
Yeah. Woo.
So back to drums. We talked a little bit about how kind of awful your first setup was and how very relatable that is. What's a piece of gear you're drooling over right now? Like if you could have a credit card and just pick up any one piece of gear today, what would you get?
Oh, dude. What would I get? Oh, man. That's a tough one. Because most of the time when I see a thing I want, I just like get it. And I'm very careful about like not going out and trying too many things. Otherwise, I'll just be like, oh, I want this and this and this and this. Mm-hmm. But like, what would I want? Honestly, I probably want just like a splash cymbal.
Really?
Just for fun. Yeah. Not like nothing too big, nothing bombastic. Just like a tiny little splash cymbal just for fun. Just to kind of like, mix into fills. Because the splash cymbal is so small, it doesn't like fill up like a whole section, kind of like when you hit a crash, it like takes up quite a bit of space. But like if you're playing a fill, you can just like drop a splash cymbal in there and it's just a little psh, and then you just move on.
Yeah, just like a sonic footnote. It's not, it's not like you said, a crash, something that rings out long. It's a nice little quick accent. Well, and affordable too. I mean, that's a pretty budget buy. So I gave you a credit card with no limit, and you bought a splash cymbal.
Dude, okay, the most expensive splash cymbal I could find.
Okay,
how about that?
That's good. Well, get you a platinum splash cymbal. So right before we started chatting, I asked you who your favorite, one of your favorite local Minnesota artists was and why, and a top track, and you said "Turn Back Now," and the song, I looked it up, is "The Unshed Tears of Mary." What is it about that song that you like? What draws you to it?
Like, it's the live performance mostly, because every time I've seen them do it live, like every time they get to the chorus, it's just this very like kind of rough tugging, almost sort of like heart pulling, just very soaring melodic kind of chorus, right? And I don't know, something about that really just strikes me as something I just want to hear more of, and I just really like it. And I don't get enough of it. So it just always sticks in my mind. It's like a really good song by a local band. Yeah.
They have really passionate and very authentic delivery. I mean, heart on sleeve when they perform. That song is particularly powerful. That one and Home Sweet Homesick is always a banger. I love when they play that one.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. The other thing that I brought up before we started chit-chatting today was a favorite song that you perform in the band. So you brought up Travis. What is it about Travis that you like performing? For those that don't know, this was written before you were in the band. So you came in and there was already, sort of a drum part established to it. So factoring that in, how did you make it your own, and what is it that you like about it now?
Every time I play the song, I just kind of feel it out. Like, although I usually end up playing the same thing, it's such a comfortable song for me to play. I never feel like I'm playing a wrong note or like I'm missing the beat or I'm like letting the energy die. It's just something that I connect with so well that I'm just so comfortable playing it, and I enjoy it a lot. Like when I get to the end and it's just like kind of I'm playing around and doing a lot of fills and just sort of adding stuff in there as I go, it never feels wrong. Like I'm always satisfied with whatever I do, no matter what.
It is a really cool song. To me, that one is sort of a grower of sorts. It's so dynamic. It starts off nice and slow, and the way that you guys are doing it now, it's sort of, plateaus, and then it dies off a little bit and kind of gets mellow, and then there's that, live you've been doing that huge build at the end where you go double time, and it has such an impact because you honor the dynamics of how the song should be. So that's a solid ass set ender, and a decent chit chat ender too to whatever this thing is that we're doing, the DL on TC or whatever we're calling this. I'm gonna go out with the song. I'll leave you, I guess, with this question is what's next for the band? I mean, it's uncertain times, but
right now both me and Josh are doing some writing. I know Josh has actually been cranking out a few tunes lately, and he's been sharing them out on like Facebook and stuff. So he's got a few songs that I think he's going to be ready to, like, once this whole quarantine thing is over, we start working together and put together a new album. And I've had like 2 songs ready for the band for quite a while, and I'm working on some others too. So yeah, once this whole lockdown thing is over, we're going to come back together and we're probably going to put together a whole EP, maybe.
Sick. Come out swinging. All right, it's charlie.doesntsurf.bandcamp.com, Facebook @doesntsurf, Instagram charlie.doesnt.surf.mn. They're on Spotify too and all over the web. Here's Travis, Charlie Doesn't Surf.